Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is your boy, Mr. CJ Talk Sports, aka Mr. Christian Jones. And today, I am back with a brand new video. We are previewing, now that the NBA Finals are over, the basketball season is over, we are getting back into the swing of things of previewing the NFL season. I am going to be doing a breakdown of each team that I'm going to be covering. We're going to be discussing each division winner. I'm going to preview who I think is going to make the playoffs. And today, we're starting with two teams that are starting training camp today. And that are the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm going to be doing my preview on both of these teams for their upcoming season. Before we get started, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and let me know which teams you think are going to come out of the playoffs, both the AFC and NFC bracket. Starting off with the Dallas Cowboys, after their star quarterback Dak Prescott getting hurt, the Cowboys went from being 2-3, I believe, staring at the top of their division, to finishing third with a 5-11 season. Now, the Dallas Cowboys have humongous expectations, much like every year. With Dak Prescott coming back, Ezekiel Elliott should be returning to form. But where I have a hard time figuring out the logic of most Cowboy fans, much like every year, is because of their star power, because of their quarterback, the Dallas Cowboys are expecting to basically steamroll the NFC East, which I do not get at all. Listen, are the Dallas Cowboys a contender for the NFC playoffs? Absolutely. When you got Dak Prescott coming back, who is a bona fide top 10 quarterback, when you have the receiving weapons that they have, as well as still having at least a good offensive line, there's no doubt in my mind that this Cowboys offense is going to be borderline top 5. Is going to finish being a top 5 offense. No doubt in my mind. I expect Dak Prescott to come back and be humongous, and I think assuming if the Cowboys win enough games, he could be a dark horse MVP candidate. Having said all that, I don't see this team finishing with any more than 8 or 9 wins. I'm sorry, I just don't see it with this team. The Dallas Cowboys, even before Dak Prescott got hurt, they were 6-19 in his last 25 starts, in which games he's completed. So, I don't see the fascination with the Cowboys this year, primarily because they still easily have the worst defense in their division and the third best coach in their division. And I don't care if you have a superstar quarterback. We've seen elite level quarterbacks miss the playoffs. Look no further to Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson played like a top 5 quarterback a year ago, but his team won 4 games. Why? Because the rest of their team was awful. It was garbage. Now, no, I'm not proclaiming that I think the Cowboys are going to finish last in their division. No, but I'm not expecting this team to make the playoffs because the rest of their roster is mediocre. I mean, let's really look at this roster from top to bottom. You got Dak Prescott, who again is a top 10 quarterback in my opinion. You have CeeDee Lamb, Amari Cooper, and Michael Gallup. Probably the best trio of receivers in the National Football League. Ezekiel Elliott, arguably a top 5, top 10 running back still. The offensive line, while it's not what it once was, still pretty good. Still among the top halves in terms of offensive line when healthy. And again, on the offensive side of the ball, they are elite. But on the defensive side of the ball, they are mediocre at best. You look at their defensive line, hit or miss at best. Okay. This team is going to be a byproduct of are they going to be playing most of their games with the lead? Now, if this offense is so explosive, is so high power that they're constantly playing with the lead, they could very easily win 9 or 10 games. But If they're not, if this team is falling behind like they did last year, as good as their offense is, it's not going to bail them out this year because of how much better the division has gotten around them. If the Dallas Cowboys, if this team were healthy a year ago, there's no doubt in my mind that they make the playoffs. 8 or 9 wins a year ago easily wins the division. This year, I don't see that happening. I'm sorry, I just don't. I think Washington is supremely better. I think the Giants are supremely better. The Eagles are in a rebuild. So 8 or 9 wins a year ago would have definitely had won the division. This year, I don't see that being the case. And it's primarily because of the defensive side of the ball for the Cowboys. Like I said, their pass rush is hit or miss at best. Their secondary is extremely young. I do not expect a secondary with a bunch of babies, with a bunch of young pups, is going to make this defense any better than it is. Now let me get on to the secret weapon for the Dallas Cowboys. Dan Quinn. Now listen, I respect Dan Quinn as a coach. I think he's a pretty good defensive mind. Having said all that, I've seen no evidence in Dan Quinn's ability to coach defense that says that this defense is going to make a monumental leap. I just don't see it. Yes, this guy cut his teeth as a defensive line coach. And like I said, this defensive line, it has talent, but it's very hit or miss. Okay, you don't know if DeMarcus Lawrence or Randy Gregory, are they going to give you 10 to 15 sacks? Or are they just going to give you about 5 or 6 sacks? Like I said, their pass rush is very hit or miss. And their run defense is awful. Completely utter trash. And when you look at both the Washington and Giants being able to run the football effectively, they're going to be able to keep that Cowboys offense off the field, and they have the defensive personnel to match up against them. Now again, going back to Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn, as you guys all know, made his name being the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks when they had the Legion of Boom. And again, he was fine over there. But this notion that, he coached the Legion of Boom, he made them the defense that they were, is completely untrue. Pete Carroll drafted the Legion of Boom. He drafted Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman, all those guys. He built a scheme around them. And when Dan Quinn left, the defense got better. So, I don't say so just because, he coached the Legion of Boom. Listen, Ray Lewis has gotten a lot of defensive coordinators' jobs. Okay, Peyton Manning has gotten a lot of offensive coordinators' jobs. Pete Carroll is the mastermind of that Legion of Boom defense, not Dan Quinn. And then when you look at his defenses in Atlanta, if he's such a good defensive coach, why are the Falcons' defense always mediocre at best? And don't give me because they didn't have the talent. A great defensive coordinator builds a defense around the talent that he has, not force them to play his scheme. Look at Patrick Graham a year ago. Patrick Graham did not have the pieces for this team to be a top 10 defense, but he saw what his personnel was good or decent at, and he built a scheme to hide their weaknesses. Dan Quinn, that is not his forte. He needs a particular set of players that is going to match his scheme rather than build a scheme around his players. And when I look at this Cowboys defense, while it has talent, you are relying on a bunch of young players to make your pathetic defense average. Now, if the Cowboys do finish with a league average defense, with how explosive their offense is, yeah, they're going to be able to win about 9, 10, maybe even 11 games. But I do not see that. Again, they have the worst defense by far in their division. They have the third best coach. They have the third best coach in the division, and that's only because the Eagles have a rookie head coach. I don't see the Dallas Cowboys winning any more than 8 or 9 games. Now again, they'll be competitive because Dak is back. And their defense will be better because it simply can't get any worse. But having said all that, I'm going to be doing a breakdown on the Dallas Cowboys schedule later on tonight or sometime tomorrow, where I will preview all of the Dallas Cowboys games. But I will admit this, the Dallas Cowboys are going to get off to a good start. I really do. Because after seeing their schedule, I really think that this team is going to get off to a hot start early. But as they're playing more divisional games, and this division is a lot better than what people are giving it credit for, they're going to start the year off doing this. And then as we get close to Thanksgiving, pew! Dallas Cowboys are a playoff contender. For sure. But the slam dunk pick to win the division? I don't see that. At all. Matter of fact, I have them finishing third in their in the NFC East. And I feel as strongly about that as any of my other NFL predictions. But that's going to wrap it up with the Dallas Cowboys. Now, we get on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I was very wrong about the Pittsburgh Steelers last year. I will admit that. I believe that the Pittsburgh Steelers, very similar to the Cowboys, was going to finish around 8-8, 9-7. Because I just didn't believe that this team had enough offensive firepower to win it, to be a playoff team. But because their defense was borderline legendary, because Big Ben played better than what I expected, the Pittsburgh Steelers start off the year on a roll, but then plummeted. And the reason why they plummeted is because Big Ben's arm is shot. And as great as their defense is, as you saw in the second half of the year, once Bud Dupree got hurt, their defense, it fell off a little bit. But when your offense is that bad, when your offense is that mediocre, your defense can only do so much. So, now we preview the Pittsburgh Steelers this year, and I'm going to stand by it. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are not a playoff team this year. I think they finished third in the division. I look at what Cleveland has done this offseason. I look at what Baltimore has done and the way the Steelers fell off in the second half last year. Again, they played one good half. They had one good half to finish off their year. They started the year 11-0, finished the year 1-5. And that one good game came in a miracle comeback against the Indianapolis Colts. That's it. That was about it. They got embarrassed by Cincinnati. They got humiliated. They got downright torched by the Cleveland Browns. And Baltimore caught a bunch of bad breaks with COVID. And so, I look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Their defense is still going to be elite. That I will not doubt. Mike Tomlin, the one thing that you could always guarantee about him, he's going to finish with at least a top 10 defense. And they're not going to finish. And they're not going to finish below 500. So, I have the Steelers pegged winning about 9, maybe 10 games this year. But in this division, I don't think that's going to be enough. I see Baltimore and Cleveland finishing with at least 12 wins. And Big Ben just doesn't look like he has the juice in his arm anymore. Big Ben is going to see what it's like of what Eli suffered through in the second half of his career, which is playing behind a bad offensive line, a mediocre running game, and no number one receivers. Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell was able to mask Big Ben's deficiencies because those are high talented players. Now the Steelers don't have that. Now the Steelers don't have that, and they're relying on a bunch of kids and a horrible offensive line to help save Big Ben the second half towards the end of his career. So that's my preview for the Cowboys as well as the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think both teams finish third in their division. Both teams are borderline playoff teams. Again, if you like this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment down below, and subscribe to CJ Talk Sports. This is Mr. Christian Jones, and I'll see you guys next time.